I'm Luke Summerhays, and I love Glimmet. I usually like to spend this little section at the start of the episode giving some kind of background information, either about this Pokemon's context in the overall Pokedex, or about the source of its inspiration. With this week's Pokemon, however, I have a lot of unanswered questions. It's a flower, maybe, though its typing does not include grass. People have compared it to sea sponges, but it doesn't live in the water. And it doesn't look a lot like any other Pokemon. It does have an unusual typing, being rock and poison, so perhaps that's the story here. The game designers wanted a Pokemon in this unusual typing niche, and the only way to do it was with something bizarre. Two eyes peer out from behind a helmet-like crystal face. Glimmet is clearly an animal, and though it floats through the sky, its movements are reminiscent of sea creatures. With a petalled flower at the front and a long bulb at the back, Glimmet's appearance is very plant-like. This is an illusion, however. Pokemon Scarlet tells us, it absorbs nutrients from cave walls. The petals it wears are made of crystallized poison. And Pokemon Violet tells us, Glimmet's toxic mineral crystals look just like flower petals. This Pokemon scatters poisonous powder like pollen to protect itself. With its bluish colour and those crystalline petals, Glimmet may simply be an embodiment of copper sulfate, a highly poisonous chemical compound which does manifest as blue crystal deposits. The most common, though still rare, natural form is called chalcanthite, literally coming from the Greek for flower. Developing near copper deposits, it can take a form which strongly resembles a blue flower made of rock. The name, Glimmet, comes from glimmer, referring to the sparkling of its crystals. The Japanese name, kirame, takes kira kira, the Japanese onomatopoeia for glittering, and mei from bud. Glimmet floats and moves quite a lot, unlike a copper ore deposit. But at level 35 it learns to sit still when it evolves into Glimora. Glimora is even more reminiscent of a chalcanthite crystal. It is a large blue flower-like crystal which hangs unmoving on a cave wall. When threatened, it opens up a little and flies like some sort of alien spacecraft. Pokemon Scarlet tells us, when this Pokemon detects danger, it will open up its crystalline petals and fire beams from its conical body. This habit of sitting still and then responding is reflected in-game, as Glimora has a signature ability in the form of toxic debris. When hit by an attack, Glimora spreads toxic spikes under the opposing team. This is a pretty powerful opening gambit, particularly in a one-on-one format. The Paldea region's champion, Gita, has a Glimora, and her hair even somewhat resembles the Pokemon. Tactically, it would make sense for La Primera to send out her Glimora first, to kick off the battle. But she, doesn't do that. As well as the mineral inspirations, there are potential vegetable ones. The Passiflora, or passion fruit plant, is a vine that spreads blue flowers all over Spain, and can kill other plants, climbing on walls just as Glimora does. And there's also animal inspirations, as the toxic debris ability is highly reminiscent of the defense mechanism employed by some sea sponges. The name Glimmora and the Japanese name Kiraflor incorporate flora into the name, either from the Passiflora directly or just from flowers more generally. Glimmora is a slightly confusing Pokemon, but a handy one in battle and a beautiful one. A Glimmet was one of my first shinies in Pokemon Scarlet, and if I ever get around to playing competitively, it might be worth trading it up. Music for Luke Loves Pokemon is composed by Jonathan Cromie. Artwork for the show is by Katie Groves. Writing, producing, and editing is all by me, Luke Summerhays. Funding is provided by lovely listeners. If you'd like to help keep the lights on or give your thanks, head over to patreon.com/podcastiopodcastius. There you can find links to the other shows my pals and I create. Or for just $1 a month, listen to episodes as soon as we're done editing. I love hearing from you guys. A 5-star rating and review on your podcasting app of choice, or even better, telling a friend about the show, would always be much appreciated. Our next monsters are Greavard and Flamigo. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about those or any other Pokemon on Twitter or Facebook at LukeLovesPKMN. Catch more Pokemon content at twitch.tv/LukeLovesPKMN, Friday nights from 9 PM UK time. And if you don't feel like doing any of that, thank you so much just for listening. I love Glimmet, and remember, I love you too.